It looks like the Raptors have been keeping busy in the trade rumors of late, so I'm here to catch you up on what's going on. What's up, everybody? It's JJ Buckets. Obviously, I'm sure you saw the name of the channel. And today I'm going to talk about some of the recent rumors that the Raptors have had with the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, the Pacers are a team that talked about wanting to do a fire sale, so to speak, or just tear it down, start anew, rebuild. They're ready to pack it in. This core just is not doing it for them anymore, and players are available. Naturally, as players are available, the Raptors have come calling. And I'm going to talk about more regarding who the targets are and why they would be great on the Raptors. But before I do, just make sure you leave a like on the video. It goes a long way to helping it be more seen on YouTube, and I really appreciate it every time you folks do it. Other than that, let's hop into the video. So the two names that the Raptors have been eyeing from the Pacers are Miles Turner and Caris LeVert. Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time on this channel, but like for a longer time, I guess, you will know that Miles Turner to Toronto is something that I have been well for and in full support of for a fairly long time now, which is why I'm going to leave talking about him till the second part, I guess. Yeah, that's English. I'm going to talk about Caris LeVert first because that's an interesting one to me, and it addresses a team need. So the Raptors are probably looking at LeVert as somebody who can be a good sixth man for the team, coming off the bench and providing some much needed bench scoring, something that this team has lacked for a to put it in a nice way. Bench scoring hasn't always been something that's been reliable and consistent for this team this year, and having somebody like Caris LeVert who could come off the bench and just go get you buckets can honestly be very valuable, at least in the regular season, to some extent as well in the playoffs. Having that go-to six man, it can go a long way. So I can definitely see why the Raptors would be eyeing LeVert. Now, when it comes to Miles Turner, I have just been in love with this move or this potential move for a while now, and I'm still in love with the idea of bringing Miles Turner to this team. I think it gives you a solid body that can go play the five in your starting lineup, and naturally that means you'll drop somebody out, but I also think that will help the problem the bench scoring as well, so I'll talk about it a little bit here. Miles Turner, realistically, if you're adding him to the team, you're probably going to play him at the five, which means somebody from your current starting lineup needs to come out. And that's probably going to be either Gary Trent Jr. or Scotty Barnes. I'll look at it from both ways here. If you're dropping Gary Trent Jr. to the bench, you're giving your bench somebody that, again, similar to Caris LeVert, can be a go-to scorer for you, which is helpful. Naturally, Gary Trent Jr., I think we've seen that he's a little bit better when he's playing with the starters and guys are helping him create, you know, some easy looks, some open shots, but it's still worth, I think, playing around with, having him be your sixth man. And when it comes to Scotty Barnes, I know this isn't going to be an option that a lot of people like, but I do think it makes sense to an extent. Naturally, you're going to lose Barnes' playmaking in the starting lineup, but at the same time, it could be better for you in the long run, because as far as Scotty Barnes and his role on this team, it has decreased and diminished ever since everybody's kind of gotten healthy. Like, he's definitely taking a back seat to some of the longer tenured Raptors, like obviously a Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, even sometimes Gary Trent Jr., he's taking a back seat to him. So his role in the starting lineup has really shrunk, and to an extent, his development could actually be better if he's given a chance to run that second unit where, you know, he just has more freedom to play his game and obviously make his game better. And then again, like, it improves the second unit, it gives you a go-to guy right away in Barnes, and he can be a tremendous leader as pretty much kind of the de facto like point forward off the bench. So it's not a move I dislike at all. And again, Miles Turner gives you, you know, somebody that's more of a not traditional. Traditional is not the word. I've been using that word a lot, and I don't think it works right. Just gives you somebody that's just more straight up, has a big skill set, and obviously he's a fantastic rim protector, leads the league in blocks. So couple that with the fact that he can space the floor offensively, he'd be a really good add. Caris LeVert would be a really good add. Either of them would be fine, frankly. And naturally, the reports have been that the Raptors have made Chris Boucher available in these trade talks, and they've also made, obviously, Goran Dragic. Dragic has been available pretty much since he's been here, and he's still on the team, even though he's really might as well not be. I mean, the man is in Miami working out with their team facilities while being a part of the Raptors. Not that I have anything specifically against that, but it just really shows you how uninvolved he is with this team, that I'm sure the first ticket out of here would be great. Now, as far as those targets going back to the Pacers and any potential trades, I don't think they're the most eye-popping or exciting targets. If you're the Indiana Pacers, well, with Goran Dragic, at least you would get an expiring contract, which I think is good for your team moving forward if you're rebuilding, which you very obviously are. As far as Chris Boucher goes, I don't know how much a 29-year-old, I believe he's 29 if I'm not mistaken, really helps your team. So if the package, you know, is centered around Boucher, I think you probably need to involve a third team there, in all likelihood a contender that maybe potentially has some young pieces that they can flip back to the Pacers, where Boucher can then go to that contender and potentially help them out. Then past that, you know, I don't know how much value Malachi Flynn still holds in trade talks. I know he was kind of exciting for a little bit, then he hasn't been at all, but it could just be a situation where he needs a change of scenery, so I'm sure, you know, that could be a name tossed around in trade discussions as well. I'd be lying if I said the Raptors have a lot of pieces that are, you know, genuinely exciting to think about when it comes to these trade talks, when it comes to these trade rumors, and especially when it comes to a rebuilding team. A lot of the guys that the Raptors have, frankly, you know, that could be enticing for a rebuilding team, you're not moving on from, because while you're not a rebuilding team, you're definitely still a young team that's building towards the future. So a lot of those guys would potentially be off limits. So it could be a little tricky, is what I'm saying, to make this deal work with the Pacers. In all likelihood, I think it's a multi-team trade. But it's not impossible, and if they have a chance to add either LeVert or Turner, it'd be a fantastic add for a young team that's looking to, you know, probably get a little bit of growth and development for their guys with a playoff berth this year. If you had to ask me between the two who I would want on this team more, I'd be perfectly fine with either. I think they both bring value to the team in their own way, you know, regarding Miles Turner and Caris LeVert. But at the end of the day, if I had a choice between the two, give me Miles Turner all day. So that's pretty much going to do it for me today. Just a fun video for me, really, to talk about at least one guy that I have been eyeing, you know, for the Raptors for so long, and another guy that I could definitely see the value in. So it's a really interesting discussion. And if you had your choice between LeVert and Miles Turner, comment below. Let me know who you would rather see on this Raptors team. Besides for that, you know the usual drill. Like the video, as I said at the beginning, it goes such a long way to helping the video be more seen, and it really helps out, so I really appreciate it. Besides for that, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Things have been slow of late in that regard, so I'd love to pick them back up, and I appreciate it if you're helping me do that. All in all though, that's pretty much me for the day, and I will see everybody next time.